Everyone thinks that I tell the truth. They're lying. How do I know? Because I lie all the time.
You're a grade A liar.
I'm a grade A liar. If I got grade on it, they would give me a good grade.
Excuse me. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to another episode of the Invested Podcast, the show where we discuss the top 10 bearded men of the year 1993.
Albert Einstein's son, Gerald Einstein.
Jalbert,
the French-German philosopher who came up with the idea of Gaffenschrift.
Is that like a book?
It is a book that I just made up.
Gaffenschrift. What would it be about?
It's like how people's bodies are actually like Rubik's Cubes or some shit like that.
It's like a philosophy thing?
Yeah. But it's science too because of Rubik's Cubes. How do those work?
My name is Terry. With me, of course, is my good friend Connor. Hi, Connor.
Hey!
Hey-o. Don't have much of a plan today. We're gonna leave it up to the dogs. Is that a saying?
Leave it up to the dogs.
I
feel like that's what people say after like a crime. They're disposing of a body. They're going to feed the body to the dogs, obviously,
and just leave it up to them whether or not they actually dispose of it or not.
Leave it up to the puppies. The puppies?
The puppies.
Yes.
My dogs are hungry.
Yeah, you know what I was going for.
Yeah, dude, I got it.
That character who's literally just named the Chechen in the script.
Is that his really?
Yeah, he's literally just.
I thought he had
Chechen.
a name. I thought he had like a gangster name. A mobster name of some kind.
One dude. I bet that. Oh my God! Who was that? No. Was that Yoren? Who played that guy?
Who's Yoren from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I feel like they had a similar. They have similar.
They said the word dog the same.
Yeah, something about they have a similar skull. Their skulls look the same.
Moving you. Okay.
That's not weird to say, right?
What, that their skulls are the same?
This guy's skull looks dissimilar to this person's. Are skulls determined by genetics? Is that just random?
I think it's random.
Yeah, because it's like your skull doesn't grow. Oh, wait, does it? How does your skull grow?
What if your head just kept growing? It'd be like in a video game when it's just the big head mode.
Oh yeah, it just kept.
And it just keeps getting. And it's just a tiny body and a huge head, and it gets to the point where just like we drag them on the ground as we walk, we can't see anything.
Wow. How does your brain is your brain just so malleable that it can keep growing even if your skull doesn't grow?
And it starts coming out your eyes and your ears and your nose. This is what are we doing? I've come up with a new segment. Do you want to hear it, Connor? You're going to love it. It's called Connor's New Character of the Week. What do you got for me?
Oh, yeah. All right. This new character is... What's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory? That's weird. I was just thinking about that. My earliest memory... Do you want me to answer this seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say my earliest memory is drawing in preschool. I was probably like 3 or 4.
Do you remember what you drew?
I want to say it was like a rocket ship.
A rocket ship. All right.
And I remember the lady came over and she said, "That looks really good." And I remember she had coffee breath.
Okay. So my character is the teacher. The teacher
I like where this is going already. Yeah.
who saw your rocket ship drawing and thought it was good. Okay. So what do teachers sound like? They kind of sound like, oh, okay.
But it's not just a teacher. It's a teacher who teaches preschool. So she talks to no, she talks to little kids though,
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Is that your character of the week?
When you draw the rocket ship, I'm gonna get more coffee.
Terrible character, Connor. I'm so disappointed.
I need fuel for this rocket ship.
I wanted that to go so much better.
It's a work in progress.
All right. So we should do a little bit of news, but I don't have any news, so let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
You said you had something to talk about. What do you got?
Something
you saw recently with Mr. James Gunn.
Well, I wanted to talk about that when we talked about Are we going to talk about Marvel?
We're going to go over Marvel stuff. You want to save it then?
Save that for later.
All right. What kind of news do you have? What's new?
Well, it's not a new thing, but it's something I noticed right now.
Then don't worry about it then. We'll get to that at some point. I have no news to talk about, though.
No news?
There's nothing going on.
Movies are going to come out someday when they let us. You know what I've been thinking a lot about?
What have you been thinking about?
Is the digital cinema projection server, right? Like, isn't that crazy how they...
The cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all run by a cloud. So it used to be actual film reels that you'd have to go in and change. This wasn't even long ago. This was like... Some theaters still do it around the world, but you used to go up in the projection booth and... Connor's eating chocolate-covered almonds, and he's trying not to chew it in the microphone. Go ahead. Give it a good chew in the microphone. Let's hear it. Damn. Yeah, that was fresh. Those sound like they taste good.
They do, yeah. Absolutely.
I don't really like almonds, but I'll give it a go. But they used to... do you ever share food with people that you don't really know that well, and you just kind of like think, wow, they're putting their hands in that bag that I'm eating out of?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
No, I'm not an almond fan. And I'm not. Is this dark chocolate? Oh, it's milk chocolate.
It's milk chocolate. Yeah.
All right, so, and then they moved into this digital thing where, excuse me, they would put flash drives in computers. Mm-hmm. The movies would come in a flash drive.
Oh, the box.
Yeah, it'd be a box.
We stopped getting those.
You get. Oh, so now it's done by a cloud. So what it is you get a flash drive to unlock the movie, and then the movie gets downloaded from the cloud satellite.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that, like, the crazy thing to me is, like, you take like a local kind of family-owned theater and how they're able to negotiate, getting access to that at the same time as like big chains. That's pretty insane, that one company handles all that stuff.
I guess it helped with theft and copyright of movies just coming out, people, pirating and things like that.
That's a super important job.
Yeah. I don't know. The movie theater we used to work at, as you know, I used to, search the drawers before I left just for the hell of it, see what I could find. And there are some flash drives still in the drawers of like movies. Like I think I found a couple, I can't remember which ones it was, but I'm wondering if I were to take them and put them in my computer, would they be on there? Would I probably don't have the software to like watch it, but I wonder how well it would work.
Oh my God. It's arbitrage.
You know what the
maleficent?
No, yeah. So that's another weird detail is when they're sent in these boxes, they have sometimes they're big enough movies. They have code names. So I remember when the first Hobbit movie was sent, it was like Golden River or something like that.
Oh, that's fun. I watched that movie.
So when people, if they got lost in the mail or they got robbed, people would look at them and be like, I don't know what the hell Golden River is.
I'm not gonna watch this indie crap.
But if they saw the Hobbit, when the Hobbit movies were actually like people looking forward to those movies, they could make a lot of money.
They'd be like, I know what this is. Yeah. I've heard of the Hobbits.
The Hobbit. So there's no news. You said something about Sly Cooper. You want to talk about Sly Cooper? Did you say that, or am I imagining?
I noticed. No, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed something. I was watching a YouTube compilation of all the boss intros.
Oh, they're all so good. I want to play those games again. I have them all
good.
too.
Yeah,
I might go through and play them all.
I got my copy. The fun thing I noticed, and especially in the first, they do this a lot in the boss intros, but they are you talking about the cutscenes, or are you talking about like just when you're about to fight the boss? Well, I'm talking more about the cutscenes.
The cartoony paper cutscenes.
Those intros.
2D.
And it's funny, I noticed the theme kind of in the first two games mostly, and it's kind of in the third game. And then I never played the fourth game, but they had the intros along with that video.
Fourth game's decent, yeah.
It seemed like it seemed like a lot of like the story wasn't like what it was.
The fourth game was a test to see if audiences would be receptive to the new generation, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I think it stood up pretty well. It was really short, and I think if they really worked at it, which supposedly they could do it, they could really pull off a classic Sly Cooper game.
Interesting.
It was small. The worlds were small. The short story. The story was kind of whatever, but.
Well, the thing I noticed. Oh, God bless. the thing I noticed in the first game, especially, is that there's this theme about adolescence and growing up, and growing up in isolation, and also having a skill, right? So you have Raleigh the Frog, right? He's grows up kind of spoiled,
yep,
and then becomes the chief machinist because he's bored of the Fiendish Five. Then you have Mugshot, who's kind of like the runt of the litter.
Yeah, he was bullied as a kid, so he got ripped so he could beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, so he's like he builds up his skill as like strength and a mobster. And then you have Miss Ruby, who is like, other kids think she's strange because she's playing with like dead creatures, and
So she shows them.
Yeah, she becomes the chief mystic. And then there's Pandy King, who's obsessed with the fireworks of the nobleman.
But he was also, he failed, and he was like, I'll show them.
Yeah.
It's all the same kind of stories.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, except for Clockwork.
Well,
I remember.
That's the thing, because Clockwork's intro is Sly is talking about in every photo or picture of his ancestors that he sees.
He's in there. He's in the background, yeah.
And it's interesting.
That used to freak me out as a kid. It was such a cool little detail.
Yeah, right.
I love that. That's so cool.
Well, it's the idea that Clockwork is older than anything. And so Clockwork, we don't really ever get to see his adolescence. We only get to see him blaming the Coopers for his failure, and why he hates them for...
So I always thought about that. The Coopers are thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Thieves are criminals.
Right.
They used to steal from other criminals, right?
I think so. Yeah,
because if not, they used to steal from Clockwork. Does that make Clockwork a good guy or?
No, still criminal. You can still.
Is it Clockworth or Clockwork?
Clockworth. Yeah,
Clockwork. It is.
You're thinking of Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. That son of a bitch. Same thing. Okay, so yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then Sly, it's almost the reverse of, he's a kid and he had a tragic upbringing, but because he has Murray and Bentley and to an extension Carmelita, he has this like emotional kind of group that he relies on. So he is obsessed with increasing his skill, and stacking up as far as like compared to his ancestors.
You know who Sly Cooper reminds me of? He reminds me of a Harry Potter musical version of Harry Potter.
Ooh, in what way?
I don't know.
Just like
he's just so cool.
Like
he's just so cool, dude.
He's just a cool guy.
Whoa, cool. I don't know. It's just something about it.
Yeah, he always had a fun personality. Oh man, do you remember how fun it was in the second game after they get? Everybody gets arrested at what's his name? Rajan?
Jean Bisson?
No, the Spice Lord, Rajan. I think it's Rajan.
Oh, the tiger?
Yeah.
Rajan, yeah, I think it is.
They get arrested, and so then you have to play as Bentley for a little bit. That was such a great twist on that.
Okay, can we talk about the second game?
Yeah.
Incredible.
So fun.
Who is the first villain? Dimitri.
Oh my God.
The best music, I think, in a video game to this date. I still listen to Dimitri's theme sometimes. It's so good. He's such a good villain.
And he's also has a similar thing of where he's like wanted to be an artist.
Yep. Failed. Didn't understand me. I'll take him out. So Rajan was what was his story? I can't quite remember his story.
He grew up poor on the streets of Calcutta. He sold illegal spices on the black market, and I thought that was a thing.
Illegal spices. I know.
Illegal spices.
No, it's like a
it's like a fictitious
thing, like for drugs.
Yeah,
but it was like spices was like
spices.
It was like cayenne pepper.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, this is super. Oh, this is cool.
It's so clever.
And so his operations are to thrive, and he's obsessed with convincing people he's royalty, even though he's not royal at all.
Right.
And so that was his whole thing. And then who was next? Was
Jean Bisson, I think.
Is it
or is it the
Contessa?
Contessa.
Yeah, she was cool.
I don't know who was first, him or Contessa, but
yeah, because they get arrested and then
so she's constable.
She gets married to this elderly aristocrat who dies mysteriously, and then she
becomes a widow.
She's a
black widow spider. Yeah,
and
so good.
Her thing was that they say that she was like in school for a long time she was like studying psychology, and then that's how she uses her fortune to build this massive prison, uses her hypnosis techniques, which hypnosis is a huge big theme in a lot of the games. I noticed it's very interesting. And then after her there is Jean Bisson, who is I loved all that stuff. That was for some reason one of my favorite.
The music in all those worlds.
Good.
And I loved how each world had 2 maps.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really...
The game was so big. That second game blew me away when I remember as a kid. And I mean, I assume it's still as good now if I were to go back and play it.
Oh, yeah. Still good. Still holds up.
Yeah, so Jean Bisson, he was frozen in ice, right?
Frozen in ice, yeah. And then as the world gets warmer, he gets thawed out. And he has the sentimentality of like a gold rush guy in the 1850s.
Yes. So he has the iron horse train.
And he's Sly actually mentions that he's like kind of sympathetic for Jean because he's like the Captain America thing where he's like out of his element. Yeah. And in his day, he would have been a hero for everything, his progress and his innovation. And for taming the wild north. People would have loved him, but now in this world we're more like,
yeah, dude, that's kind of sketchy, dude. How did you fight him? I don't remember his battle.
Oh yeah, that was.
I remember sneaking in his cabin while he was on the phone with the villain.
Oh, that was.
And you're like up on the rafters, and he's huge. Yeah. I just don't remember how you fight him.
I remember he had. I think it was a thing where he had like a room that was like a log cutting room with all these different traps, and he had because his big thing was I think he had the claws on his cane. I think.
Yeah, he was a log cutter.
Yeah.
He was a lumberjack.
Yeah.
I remember you go through like the Winter Olympics with him, kind of. Like
that was so good.
The lumberjack Olympics.
Yeah.
You do the log rolling and things like that.
That was awesome.
It's great. And then so the last one's Arpeggio, the little parrot.
Arpeggio, who you never get to fight because
No.
Nayla fucking jumps in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his whole backstory was very similar. Of like he started off as a kid, and he's
in the birdcage.
He never grew.
Right.
Oh yeah.
He moves around in a birdcage.
Yeah, and he studied the Italian Renaissance masters to learn how to like make himself bigger. Yeah, it was really cool. I like how they all had like these fun backstories.
He recreates Clockwork, didn't he?
Yeah. He gets all the parts. It's
I think I'm gonna replay them. At least I know I replayed the first one recently while I was at school. Mm-hmm. I think I might go on to the second one.
Yeah, the second one is I think it's my favorite.
Yeah, I might as well.
I just remember like I'm just surprised because I don't think I've noticed that in a video game before where because you play games and it's like, oh, this is really fun, this is cool, I love what they're doing with the story, a lot of stuff like that. But Sly is very strange because they have so much, they focus on character and genre, right? A lot. And how they mix genre. Yeah. And it's so interesting. I don't really think I've seen that, It's like when you're in like when Sly's in Paris, like it feels like a Parisian heist. And when he's in Canada, it feels like it's really insane. It's how their commitment to how these like expanding the characters into something other. It's really interesting.
The third one is a little unforgettable. The pirate stuff.
Unforgettable?
Yeah. No, forgettable. I'm sorry. It's a little forgettable. I remember being a little disappointed. I mean, it was a fun game, but I don't think it was the strongest.
Yeah, it felt slapped together.
Yeah, it definitely did. It was very Spider-Man 3.
Very Spider-Man 3.
Right?
Yeah.
The second one's amazing. The first one's solid, and the third one's like has its moments, but it seems a little too much.
Rushed. Too much meddling.
I remember the beginning. You start off like as a whole team, but you don't know who the team is. Mm-hmm. They're all like in darkness, but you can kind of tell.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's Dimitri.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Panda King. Yeah. I don't know who these other people
are. I don't know who these other people are. But I remember the first one was that Opera Lion.
Oh yeah.
In Venice.
Yeah, Octavio,
which was okay. He was fine. He sang a lot. The second, the reason I think I had a big issue with this game because it was less bosses and boss worlds. It was more like random.
Yeah. It was random. There was no cohesion. The first one, it's like you're trying to get the pages back. The second, you're trying to get the clockwork parts. The third game is like I don't know.
I don't remember
Trying
what
to get people?
I don't remember what the story of the third one is. I remember that. I remember trying to get the guru.
Oh yeah, in Australia.
Although the lemonade drinking competition's funny.
That was really great.
That's pretty good. Yeah, in Australia. Yeah,
I think the best
in
part
the
of
outback.
the third game.
There are all these dingoes.
All these dingoes. The best parts of the third game is probably honestly for me, it's like the final level when you're in the Cooper vaults, because like you
just go through it. Yeah,
you get to see all the exhibits.
You use all the powers that you learned.
That was really cool.
The pirate stuff is fun though.
Oh yeah.
Having your own pirate ship and just kind of cruising around shooting.
that was
really a good
cool.
pirate game in and of itself.
And I kind of like the flying level too.
Oh yeah, the Red Baron.
Red Baron. That was cool.
Red Baron stuff was fun. That's where you get the bunny girl.
Oh yeah, Penelope. Yeah.
So the team is the guru.
Mm-hmm.
He was cool because you could turn into other little things.
Oh yeah.
And you go and you spin the thing and then you shrink into like a plant or something like that. So there's him. There's Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
Dimitri, which was great having him back, but I think it was a different voice actor, so it was always a little weird.
Oh yeah, it was funky.
Panda King. His level was fun. I remember his level.
Yeah. What was the name of the villain? I forget his name.
Oh, he was a rooster though, and he did the slow motion like karate.
He was like a general, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you do it in the bamboo forest.
Yeah,
that was fun too. I enjoyed that. I think that's what I'm saying. There's good moments of that game, but the story overall, I don't remember.
I feel like I 90% am sure it was Gao. I'm pretty
General
sure.
Gao. No, that's from that's Daredevil.
No,
Madam Gao.
General Gao's chicken, because he's a rooster. I feel like that was the joke.
I'm looking it up. Sly Cooper 3.
I really feel like I'm like 90% sure that was the joke.
Honor Among Thieves. Let's see here. Plot.
Which weird is it tastes just like orange chicken. I don't understand why they
General Gao. Yeah, I know it is just orange.
It's the same thing.
It's
just like spicier. Maybe.
Dr. M is the bad guy. I just don't remember.
Right, he was the monkey.
He was a monkey.
Yeah, or like he was like a chimp or orangutan or something.
Oh yeah.
He one of the ones with like the weird face. He had blue and red and white.
Yeah, I think he was a baboon.
Baboon, yeah.
A baboon. All right, let's see here. General Sao.
General Sao.
So, Jin King. Oh yeah, so you help the Panda King rescue his daughter from General Sao. Mari locates and recovers the van. Dimitri emails Slider. It says the whole story. I'm reading this. I still don't know what the story is, though. I think Dr. M tries to get into the Sly Cooper vault, so you try to get there first.
Yeah. Because he's like put stuff all around the island, and so you have to get through all of his stuff too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just remember it not. I remember even as a kid thinking it's not as good as the second one was.
The second one was
so
satisfying.
Fleshed out.
And even the ending,
that's a good way to put
the
it.
ending was great.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. It was the real Empire Strikes Back of the series.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, this is really good. And then Sly 3 just kind of ends like, just kind of ends like it's. I mean, I understand. It felt like there were ideas in the first two games that they'd set up, and they were doing too much new stuff in the third one instead of capitalizing on the payoff. Like I'm like, I don't understand why Clockwork wasn't in some way featured in the third game. Not even his character, but just like some of the ideas behind where he comes from or something like that. Like, because it's like he'd been such a huge part for these other two games.
You beat him in the first one, and then he comes back. It's not really him in the second.
Yeah,
he is dead. It's kind of like the Joker in the Arkham games.
Yeah, because he comes back.
Yeah, he just kind of comes back. And I guess they just didn't want to do that. And they didn't want to. They were like, I feel like there's gonna be a Batman game in the future where they just kind of shoehorn the Joker in, and we don't want to do that with our villain.
We don't want
So,
to do that.
so the fourth one was pretty good. It had some really memorable moments. I feel
like I love the idea, but I don't think I like what I saw.
It
felt too silly.
It was okay. It was fan made. It wasn't Sucker Punch made.
It was fan fiction.
I remember the music being really good, but it had really decent moments. Probably my least favorite Sly Cooper game, but that doesn't mean it was terrible.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see if they go for another one.
Mm. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because it was a good start for having a different company make it on a new platform. It was a good start. It was good to be back with all the characters again after all the time in a new form. It looked good. Definitely looked really good.
I think there's just something so interesting about that world, like how perfectly it encapsulates the genre in a way that even I feel like a lot of movies fail. It kind of succeeded, you know.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's like a perfect Pixar movie.
Yeah, it is. It is a perfect Pixar movie.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's weird. There's almost, it kind of reminds me of a series of unfortunate events a little bit, like the book series, because it's
got like dark sarcasm to it.
Dark sarcasm, but you have this. So you have the story as it goes along, and it's kind of aimed at kids, young people, right? But there's this whole other thing where like the references, the way the scenes play out, the genre aspects are like kind of sophisticated. They're kind of adult. It's like you have references to like Fantomas and all this stuff, and like old films like La Aventura and stuff like that. And you're like, what the heck? Like, there's these really awesome.
But it jumps around too. It goes from like that to like westerns to like It's got all these genres to it.
It's really well done.
It's got like spy movie, western movie,
and I'm like, who's doing this? What genius is like? Oh my god, we're gonna put this reference here, and then like it's like if Edgar Wright kind of was in charge of a video game.
Yeah.
Super, super interesting. I want to know more. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's the dude from Infamous, if it's like that's his baby, Nate.
I know it's I think he was involved. I don't know if he
or
did
no, is that the character? Who's the guy who like runs the show?
The guy who runs
I want to say it's Nate, but that could be just the character from Infamous.
That's the composer.
And now they're doing Last of Us.
No, that's Naughty Dog.
Oh, right.
Who did Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot.
And Uncharted.
Yeah. I'm looking up Sucker Punch right now. Sucker Punch has changed a lot. So they did Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, Sly 2, Band of Thieves, Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. This was in 2003, 2004, 2005.
Wow.
Oh, no, 2002 was for Sly Cooper. But yeah, consecutive back-to-back.
Wow.
Nothing until 2009.
That's pretty short turnaround, too.
Yeah, so 2002, 2004, 2005 was Sly Cooper games. 2009 was Infamous. That was the next game to come out. 2011, Infamous 2.
Those are fun.
2014, Second Son. And right now, no date announced, Ghost of Tsushima. Or Tsushima. That's their next game. It doesn't have any information on it, but it's PlayStation 4.
They have a great track record, so I'm sure
they had nothing on the PlayStation 1. I thought they had something. They had one game on Nintendo 64, which is called Rocket Robot on Wheels.
A classic. I think that's this crazy thing about the gaming industry is like you always hear that after a game, you remember the BioShock thing, right? Of when BioShock Infinite came out, and then right after it came out, Ken Levine like closed down Irrational Games.
Yeah,
and it's like it's weird because like gaming is such a huge industry, but like they kind of almost always lose money, and companies can never sustain themselves, which is really sad, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man.
Clockwork is spelled clock and then WERK.
Yeah.
Clockwork.
He was such an interesting villain. I was like
Carmelita Montoya Fox.
Yeah, she was cool.
Constable Neela. This is the second game. I'm just looking at it right now.
Those first two games were so fun.
Prague, Canada, London, India. Yeah, I just love the worlds. Going to all these different places. Like the Rajan's place.
Oh,
Dimitri only had one world.
Dimitri just had one.
And then I remember going to Rajan's, like, it was like an Indian palace. And you do the dance.
Yeah. That was great.
The dance with the girl. And then I remember after you beat him once, he runs away, and you're in like the woods and like an ancient ruins in India. And I was like, this isn't over? Like crazy. Like that. I remember that blew my mind as a kid. I was like, it's not done yet?
Act 2.
A whole other world opens up, and you have to do it all over again. It was just like, it's fascinating. Doesn't Murray beat the crap out of him? You play as Murray.
I think so. Yeah.
Fist fight him. And because he's huge, and you're like, Murray comes and like beats it. The Murray.
The Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody had really funny jokes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Super. I mean, just super well done too. Because like, you always think with like kids games or kids like media, you think they might drop the ball, because they're like, we don't have to.
Yeah.
It's kids. They're gonna like whatever you put, Yeah. And the fact that they put so much effort into it is like insane.
I feel like it was like, it was either they make a video game or a comic book, and they chose video game.
Yeah, that was a good choice too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun. I didn't know we were going to really talk about Psycho, but yeah, it felt good to talk about that again. And I think I might try to pick them up again just for the heck of it.
Super fun.
Yeah. So Avengers. Let's move on. Avengers: Infinity War comes out this coming week. We are going to see it Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it next time.
Oh boy.
But I think that to kind of prepare ourselves mentally and physically, we should talk about every MCU movie that's come out.
Do you think it's going to happen on Wednesday? Because part of me is like worried it's not going to happen.
Here's the thing about that. We do early showings. We are not. The way I look at it is, I will not expect it to happen until I see the Marvel logos come on screen. And I say this because, and it's not that I don't have any confidence in the people putting it on. It's just that I'm not doing it myself. So, and
didn't you have to go help last time?
Yeah. And I don't even know what I'm doing. If I'm, I know that sounds really conceited, but like, I'm not the one who's in control. So, whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens.
And if it doesn't happen, I will not see it in a crowded theater.
Oh, interesting.
I will wait.
Wow.
Because it's not worth it.
Those internet spoilers.
It's not worth it to me. I hate people making sounds and moving and talking, and if I don't get a good seat, and no, I'll wait until it's like a Monday morning and it's the earliest showing I can go to.
Oh, look at that.
I went and saw A Quiet Place this weekend.
Oh, how's that?
Fantastic.
But
it's a wicked quiet movie. Do not see that movie in a theater with a lot of people because you'll hear everything. And I'm already super like, I can hear everything that's going on, like super attuned to every word, every little sound. It takes me out of it. So that movie was tough, but it was good enough to hold my attention, and I really liked that movie.
A Quiet Place.
But anyway, let's talk about it. So, beginning with the first Iron Man movie. When was the last time you saw that movie, you think?
Oh man, it's been a couple years. It's been at least 4 years, maybe.
Yeah. I saw it on TV like a couple months ago.
Oh,
I think it's still one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
It's just solid. Like
it's the best Iron Man movie, that's for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah. You don't think Civil War is better?
Well,
so here's the thing about it. I forget about the other Iron Man movies. I like Iron Man 2, and I like Iron Man 3 as well, but we'll get there. Let's just talk about Iron Man 1. So Iron Man 1 is the beginning of it all. Tony Stark, billionaire, genius, playboy, fart bag. I remember seeing this movie and thinking, man, I love this character. He's so funny. I love his personality. I thought it just clicked with me when
I love Jeff Bridges. I was like,
he's great villain.
So fun.
Yeah, he was a great villain. If you look back, because now his villain I feel like is a little less, because I felt like a lot of Marvel movies tried to copy his villain. Just a typical close to the main character, turns around,
is like
becomes an evil version of him, and then they fight at the end. Because it was the first one to do it.
And then dies.
Yeah, and then dies. First one to do it, it worked really well, and I think it still does now. But yeah, so the only connection to the real MCU stuff was Nick Fury shows up at the end.
Yeah. It was very late.
Yeah, and he's like, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
How did he get into that house?
He walked in.
Walked in. Okay, so then number 2 is The Incredible Hulk, which you haven't seen.
I haven't seen it. I hear people say it's not great.
It's fine. It's whatever. The only connection to the MCU is at the very end, the credits. Tony Stark shows up to Thunderbolt Ross, who is also in Civil War, and he's like, we're putting a team together.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So from there, we go to Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
So Iron Man 2, I think people hate on a little bit too much. It's not as solid. I think it's not as solid as the first one, but I liked it.
The only things I like about it are just I like Sam Rockwell, and that's about it.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's great, and Tony Stark is good, and I think the Mark V suit up is really cool. The suitcase.
Oh yeah, that's kind of.
It was
fun.
cool seeing new tech. It was cool learning about Tony's father because that becomes important.
Oh yeah, actually, I did like that part. Yeah. Howard Stark.
It's the first introduction to Howard Stark.
Yeah, you're right. That is important later.
Yeah, I liked it, and it connects to the MCU because Natasha gets introduced, and he gets his evaluation to join the Avengers. And there's always that Easter egg in the back with the map, where there's like points of interest around the world, and there's a point of interest in New Mexico, which is Thor's hammer. There's a point of interest in the middle of Africa, which everybody was like, is that Wakanda? And it turns out it is, because it's in the same spot where Wakanda is. There's one in kind of like Iceland area where Captain America supposedly fell into the ice. Yeah. Like Finland or Iceland, or I don't know where the heck it is. And then what happens in the end of the credits of that movie?
It's I want to say it's the
Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thor's hammer lands in the crater, leads right to Thor, which is the next movie that just came out. See, we're going right through these, dude.
Yeah.
And this is all out of memory, by the way. Just want to say that. Okay, so the next movie, Thor. Not a huge fan of Thor.
I liked it. I think it's one of the better ones. I mean, it's not as good as Ragnarok, but better than Dark World, I think. And I just love Thor like running around being.
He's not
weird.
Thor through the whole movie, though.
What do you mean?
He's not even Thor. He's Thor at the beginning and he's Thor at the end, but there's no Thor in the middle. He's not Thor.
Oh, he's just like a regular dude.
Yeah, he's just
but like,
dude.
yeah.
Like nothing happens.
Yeah. But it's Dark World is so underwhelming to me that this movie almost like shines in comparison. And then Kenneth Branagh directed it,
it's so random, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that great?
Like, what the heck is he doing?
And all the Asgard stuff I think is kind of cool. All the stuff him and Loki and Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins is great as Odin.
Yeah.
And I mean, the casting's great in that movie.
Yeah.
In that world. I mean, casting's great in all these movies, really.
I like Loki's death in that movie. Is cool.
Loki looks so weird.
His
hair just
gelled back.
Yeah. And then they bleached Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows.
Oh, they did?
And beard.
That's pretty funny.
It's why he looks like super plastic in that movie. So, connections to the MCU in that movie is
space stuff. It's in space.
Is it the connection to the Tesseract?
Yeah.
When's the Tesseract come into it?
At the end credits. Because Selvig's down in the lab.
Yeah, but is it in the movie? I don't remember it being in the movie. I know that weird.
He shows it to him at the end. He's like history tells us one thing, legend tells us another. But sometimes we find something that's a little bit of both. And then he opens the case and you see Loki's
in the reflection.
I guess that's worth a look. Yeah. That's fun. And that was directed by Joss Whedon.
That scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could kind of feel it. Had that blue tint.
That was one of my favorite parts of that movie.
Yeah. Okay, so then we lead into... That's cool that they introduced the Tesseract before it was in the movie. Because it was in Captain America.
I like how they just have the Tesseract lying around.
Yeah, right. Isn't it weird they call it Captain America the First Avenger? That's what it's called. That's the name of the movie.
Because it was right before Avengers, I think.
So the first Captain America movie, which I think is one of my least favorite MCU movies.
Interesting.
It's not my least favorite, but it's one of them. It's down there. It's just so bland to me.
It's bland.
They didn't know how to use the character, and I don't think the character was really utilized until Winter Soldier.
I feel like it's structurally competent in ways that I just didn't get from, like Iron Man 2.
I think we talked about this when Wonder Woman came out, but Wonder Woman is the Captain America movie I wanted. Until the end. Until the end, obviously. But I wanted a gritty war movie with Captain America being a badass. But instead we got weird laser Nazis that weren't even Nazis. Because they were afraid to mention Nazis for some reason. Yeah. We live in a world now where Nazis, like the Nazi symbol and like Nazis themselves aren't really... I mean, they were in that movie kind of, but like not anymore. They're not allowed to put swastikas in video games anymore.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But that's what I wanted. I wanted him to be like just up and just killing, in the trenches. I would have loved to see him
make fun of the Soviets now.
I wanted to see Captain America storm Normandy.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. All the little kids would have gotten so depressed.
Who cares about little kids?
Kevin Feige does. Kevin Feige's like, hey, we got to make this kid friendly, all right?
PG-13. Yeah. Well,
you got to Thanos pop somebody's head off. Make sure it's bloodless cottage.
Is that a cigar? He has a cigar in his hand.
Long ass
cigar. Really long cigar. Hey.
We're not. There's no PG-13. Actually, all those movies are rated PG-13.
Yeah, they're all PG-13. So the connection to MCU, Tesseract is used. It's the space. We don't know. I don't think still haven't been told it's the Space Stone yet. It's been shown that it's the Space Stone.
Are you sure?
No one's ever said the Tesseract is the Space Stone.
The Space Stone. I feel like somebody must have said it.
I don't think so. I think it was shown in the collector's room in the Guardians, but
no one's been outright.
And there's a promo, or there's a flashback in Age of Ultron where Thor's looking at all the stones and it shows the Tesseract and it breaks and the Space Stone's in it, but it's never said.
Oh, you know what? I know where I just heard it. I said there's a clip from Infinity War where a character refers to it as.
Don't tell me. I don't want to.
It's like 1 minute in.
Anyway, so it gets lost in the ice. Captain America gets frozen. End credit scene. He is unfrozen and he's in.
Do you think Red Skull is still alive?
I don't care. At this point, who cares about Red Skull? Because Hugo Weaving doesn't want to do it again.
But that character could be back. Do you think that character's got more to say? And another thing.
And he comes back like the world's destroyed from Infinity War, and he's like, "Hey!"
He got Captain America.
Right now, maybe at some point, if they want to continue these stories, which I don't think they should, but
I spent 50 years in space, and I've learned a lot.
I've been falling for 90 years, whatever amount of years it's been.
He saw when Loki fell off the Rainbow Bridge. He saw each other. It was like,
he just kind of pointed at it, like, huh? Dude, what if he ended up in a car to fight Gladiator style?
He did.
Yeah, he did. No, he's as strong as he's Captain America.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
he's a super soldier.
I always forget he's.
It just made him look bad.
Yeah, they're just like, have everybody else have lasers.
But that movie though, Captain America, like he would throw his shield and it wouldn't come back; it would just fall on the ground. They didn't even know how to do anything with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's because he was just learning his powers, but I don't know. The only good scene in that movie is where he wears his pants too small.
What? Oh,
and he runs down the street.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's super funny.
What are those type of pants called?
They're like chinos. So
then the Avengers came out, and I remember seeing that movie, and it blew me away.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I think that's one of the most solid MCU films still.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's best Avengers movie.
Oh, yeah.
So far.
Yeah, best Avengers movie. Yeah, I guess I can say that.
It's so solid. I think it's structurally just, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Loki returns with 2 fancy space machines.
I saw that movie so many times in theaters.
I've seen that movie so many times on Netflix.
Oh yeah, it used to be on Netflix.
Yeah, I would just turn it on and watch it.
Yeah.
And then I do that with Civil War. I'll just kind of click on it and watch scenes from it. But so Avengers, we get the team together finally. It was the first time we'd seen anything like it. Incredible. Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk, much better than Edward Norton.
Great.
I think not just as the actor, but even the Hulk himself looks better.
Yeah.
Did such a good job with that. I was so excited about him. Because I've never liked the Hulk, really, until that movie.
Yeah, they made him like the best character.
Because he's a side character, and he always should be. He was a solid movie. Great stuff. That's our first vision of Thanos. The very end credits, where he just turns and looks and smiles, and you're like, who's that guy?
I actually love the opening to Avengers a lot.
With the SHIELD facility blown up?
Before that. Just a little prologue where it's like, you see like the stairs leading up to Thanos' chair, and you hear the other doing a voiceover and talking about...
Oh, yeah.
It was like super... Like, what the heck is this?
The floaty stairs, yeah.
Like, I'm going to go watch the Avengers movie, and then it opens up on like some weird evil cosmic villain, and you're like, what? Like, I would just remember being so...
Who's he talking to in that scene?
He's talking to Thanos in the opening scene.
Okay. You don't see Thanos though.
No, you just see the back of his chair. It's really.
I don't
cool.
remember that scene that well. I feel like it's because I always start like
Yeah,
at the introduction of Iron Man,
It was cool.
which I love that scene as well. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he's underwater and he flies through the
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. Good stuff. What's after that? Iron Man 3.
I mean,
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
I feel like I've only seen that movie one time.
Really?
I've only seen it once.
I think it's better than people say. It's probably because I love Iron Man so much.
It's probably better than Iron Man 2.
I think they're both fine for me. Yeah. People hate the Mandarin twist. I like it. I think it's fun. I don't like the version of the Mandarin. Like I don't like the Killian whatever.
The Guy Pearce
version, but I like the twist. I thought that was funny, and I thought it was fine because I don't care about the Mandarin.
I was so excited for that movie because I was like, we're gonna get to know what happened after the Avengers. It's like we're gonna get to know. It was kind of like what Civil War was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How it takes place after an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And you get to know what everybody else is doing.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know. You only know what he's doing, and I like that idea of the PTSD. I think they did a good job with that.
That was the best part. All the wormhole stuff was.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that led into Ultron very well.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think they did a good job with that character and making him very confused and uncomfortable.
When he destroyed his suits at the end, everybody was confused. Everybody was like, "Why did you do that?"
I think they dug themselves out of that hole pretty well.
I'm gonna use my brain now. What? Were you not before? I'm making too many suits.
I think the biggest mistake of that movie is he took the stuff out of shrapnel out of his heart.
Oh yeah. Keep that in there.
Because that made him who he was, though. That was the point. Because he talks about it in the Avengers. He's like, every minute this.
And then Mark Ruffalo's like, "Hey, how's your shrapnel, dude?" He's like, "Oh no, I actually got rid of it."
Yeah. He's like,
you
now
have to live with this.
Yeah, you have to live with it. I don't. I can get rid of mine. Like it just kind of threw away that moment.
I'm just rich.
I'm rich and I'm smart. What are you gonna do about it?
Why did he never do that before?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just a stupid moment. But I guess you just forget about it. Move on. So from there we move on to crap. What's next? Winter Soldier?
No. It's
Dark World.
Dark World.
Dark World is next.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying Dark World when it first came out, mainly because I thought the action was really well done.
I just remember being so let down because it was a Game of Thrones director. And I was like, oh shit, Game of Thrones director. Oh my god.
The trailers for that movie was good.
Oh yeah, I think the trailer got me kind of hyped.
Yeah. I know. I thought the action was really good. Like I liked the escape sequence.
Oh yeah.
I liked Heimdall. Just kind of that moment where he's on the bridge and he just kind of stops and he turns around, and he runs with his knives, and he just jumps and he hits the ship that's invisible. It's such a cool moment because there's no dialogue. You're like, oh yeah, he sees everything. The action's cool though. I thought the action, like the black hole grenades.
Fun. Oh yeah. That was
Loki's performance is fantastic in that movie. When he's in jail,
he's one of the best parts. The part I like the most of that movie is when they're walking along and then he transforms into Captain America.
Yeah,
I love that part was great.
Yeah. It's the last time we see Jane Foster.
Woo! Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
She was bland. She did nothing for the
as
franchise.
Plain as the nose on Bland's face. What? As bland as the nose on Plain's face.
I don't think that.
Oh, that's an Arrested Development code. I don't think you.
No, I don't get it. So that movie ends with them bringing the ether, which is the Infinity Stone, which isn't really, it's a liquid.
Why is it a liquid?
To the Collector. So it's the first time we see the Collector.
You gotta pour it into the hole and let it sit overnight in the fridge.
So I think that's a moment where they first talk about. I think that's where they actually. Now that I talk about it, where they mention
he pops the. I've seen in the trailers he pop. Oh, never mind.
What are you talking about? Shh. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the first time the Collector. With the scene with the Collector.
That was cool. I like that part.
Yeah, they mention now that I think about it.
It is not wise to keep two Infinity Stones so close.
So I think that was the first confirmation that the Tesseract was Infinity Stone. So
I like how this random dude knows about Infinity Stones. It's like, you're just some dude.
You're just an axe dude.
You're gonna get killed in the next movie.
So then we move on to Winter Soldier.
No.
Yeah. Guardians. Really? Guardians was before Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think Winter Soldier was first.
I'm not sure.
I think so. I'm going to look it up. Let's see. All MCU movies. Okay, let me look it up. I'm gonna bet you a flick on the wrist that
Flick on the wrist.
Phase 2, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
God.
Killing it, dude. So Winter Soldier came out, showed us what Captain America should be.
Mm-hmm.
Defined him who he was.
It's still one of my favorites.
Still one of the best movies ever. It has absolutely nothing to do with the greater MCU world, except for Bucky is in it, I guess.
Yeah.
And S.H.I.E.L.D. collapses.
Oh, and the ending, it leads into Ultron.
The ending leads into Ultron because of the twins and the
That was my favorite. I love that scene so much.
It doesn't feel like that's clearly Joss Whedon directed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was, but
I think it was. Yeah,
it feels like it. It doesn't feel like because the Russos have a feel on their films, and it did not feel like.
That
like
was a very
movie.
Joss scene.
Yeah. So that happens. I think that movie's great. Not much really to say about it, I guess. I don't know.
I was just thinking of that scene. I love that scene so much in my head.
What do you love about it? What's so good about it?
I just love it's like the ultimate fun villain scene because you have like it's almost like
they walk through their evil laboratory and
and it's one of those movies where it's one of those moments where you have like two villain characters being like, oh man, I can't believe everything's crashing down around our ears, this is horrible, right? And then the other guy's like, not really, like our plan extends so much farther beyond this. Like this these stakes don't even matter. And it was like, you're like, what, girl, what are you talking about? And that was a cool reveal of Loki's staff because like I didn't even think of that.
I
was like,
oh, where's
shit.
it been all this time? S.H.I.E.L.D. had it.
There it is.
That's why they have it. So from there,
then you get to see Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, because I was right. Guardians is next. Power Stone. Guardians was a blast. I think that was to me. Fun. Iron Man 3 was hit or miss. Thor was all right. Avengers was great, but nothing was fantastic since Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Captain America: Winter Soldier happened, and then from there, it's just been great. Even Ultron with its issues is still.
It's been quality ever since then.
So Guardians of the Galaxy, brand new team, brand new.
I think that's because they got good directors.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they I think it's because they let the directors do more.
Right.
I mean, except for Ant-Man. I think there was more to that though than we know.
Ant-Man.
So anyway, do you have anything else to say about Guardians? I mean, it's just kind of Power Stone,
super fun
blast. We get introduced to this entire new world and universe.
Well, I was thinking a lot about James Gunn, right? And that's what I was going to mention when we got to Guardians.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, how did he do this? Like, how did he get to Guardians? I was like, I looked down his Wikipedia, and my thing for years, I was like, well, he made Super, right?
Yeah.
That came out in like maybe 2009. Maybe.
Yeah.
And that was a Rainn Wilson vehicle. It was a character piece, but it was a superhero piece. So they see that he can do a superhero. Like that's all these directors have like an audition piece that has some element of a superhero or genre thing.
Except for the Russo brothers.
Well, the Russo brothers did that episode of Community where it was like the paintball stuff.
I don't know it.
That's why he like brought them in.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Feige was like, I saw that episode of Community they directed and I was like, they should come in because it's a genre piece, you know. It's a huge. You know.
I do not know it, but anyway, continue about James Gunn. What about him?
But basically, I'd always assumed that for years, and then I was like, well, how did he get to that point? And I was like, how old is he too? I didn't know how old.
He's in his 40s, isn't he?
Older.
50s.
Older. He finished high school. It doesn't say his age on Wikipedia, but if you do a little bit of basic math, you can kind of figure it out. He finished high school in, I want to say, 19. I'm actually totally blanking. I want to say 1974 or 76.
Okay, wow, mid 70s.
Yeah. So, maybe I might be botching that a little bit, but I just remember it was like he was his big because he had done things before. He'd worked for like Lloyd Kaufman and stuff like that in the 90s, but it wasn't until his big breakthrough was when he was the screenwriter for Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. Those were his big like first big name things.
Yeah.
And he was like in his 30s or 40s by the time that happened, and that was like 18 years ago. So he's like in his 50s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he looks young.
Yeah.
And
he acts like a child.
He's very acting.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the most interesting of the directors, just because he like.
Besides Taika Waititi.
Oh yeah, Taika Waititi is great.
Taika Waititi fascinates me.
He's super funny. It's super interesting. But I think that like, I mean, this could be a difference of opinion, but I do think Guardians 2 is not only the best Guardians movie, but like when you compare it to something like Thor Ragnarok, it's like there's so many levels to it.
See, I disagree. I think Guardians 1's better than 2.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally get that, because when I was watching Guardians 1, I had more fun watching it than Guardians 2, but I think that Guardians 2 has so many like issues and ideas, and like you really get to see him do his craft. And I think one of the problems with Guardians 2 is that we all were so hype off of Guardians 1 that nothing could really top that experience of how fun that was.
No, I know. I mean, I just have a couple little issues with it, whereas Guardians 1, I don't really have any issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we should move on quick. Avengers Age of Ultron.
Oh, man. I wanted to like this movie so much.
Avengers Age of Ultron suffers from trying to be better than the first, like we just said.
And executive interference.
And I think it has no downtime. It just continues and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. But I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fun
I just
to watch.
think it was a little too stuffed.
I watched it a lot. For someone as me, I'm like really critical of it. I watch it a lot.
No, it's fun because it's a blast. It's too stuffed, I think. And it was overblown, and that's why Joss Whedon was like, I can't do this anymore.
You got so burnt out by that.
Yeah. But I think from all things considered, he handled it, and
it was okay.
It came out, and it was good. Ant-Man comes out after that, which I always think is a weird way to end the phase.
Yeah, super weird.
But Ant-Man came out. It was solid enough. I enjoyed it. It was okay. Whatever it is. What it is.
2 thumbs down. Boo.
You didn't like it? I thought
I
you
only
liked it when it came out.
I only like the Michael Pena parts.
I thought it was fun. I think Paul Rudd's good, and I think that Michael
Douglas
Douglas is good.
Like.
Anyway, it's fine. Captain America: Civil War is next. Wow, that came up quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
Civil War, I think, is incredible. It's
really
it's such a solid movie, such a good character movie, such a good action movie, such a good everything movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot of problems I have with it. It's super fun.
Yep. It leads in the MCU by breaking the Avengers apart.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention Age of Ultron. We're talking about leading in.
Yeah.
The Mind Stone and Vision is
yeah.
introduced and things like that. And Scarlet Witch and
Thanos at the end getting his gauntlet.
Yeah, that seems stupid.
I was like, what?
Fine.
I'll
do it myself.
That sentiment felt like what that was the scene.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Super like, all right. It just felt like he was so burnt out. He was so upset.
Yeah. That was just Joss Whedon. They just put a mocap over him. He was just like, fine. They were like, oh, we'll just make that Thanos. So after that was Doctor Strange. One of my least favorite of the MCU movies. It's down there with the first Captain America movie.
Not that great. Ooh, whoa. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're all decent.
Terry came out to play.
They're all decent movies, but like, it's just kind of
That's a very low
I think I've seen it twice, and that's it.
I think I like him more than Ant-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. Because I don't think Doctor Strange is in this movie is that interesting of a character.
Mm-hmm. I like some of the thematic stuff, like all the stuff with time.
Yeah.
One of the best endings.
Best end fight, I think, yeah. But I thought Dormammu was a stupid villain. I didn't like the whole...
I'm a giant cloud.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know. It would have been... I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Movie was kind of whatever. We got introduced to the Time Stone. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
That's kind of the weakest of the Phase 3s, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely it is. In most people's opinion. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Is that
came out right after Doctor Strange?
Yep.
Yeah. I love that movie so much. I have like such a huge place in my heart for that movie.
I have issues with it, but I loved it as well. I thought it was great.
So much. It never gets tired.
I didn't like the end fight. It was like a half hour long of the movie, and it was just kind of...
I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's so much I like about
I just think
movie.
it's the Pac-Man scene that really gets on my nerves.
Everybody talks about that. Everybody hates that joke.
I do. I hate it.
It's a boring joke. It doesn't do anything, but it's like...
It was just such a, isn't this funny? moment. I was like, no, that's not funny.
I do think
you're trying too hard.
They do try too hard in the jokes in the movie, but there's so many moments that make up for it, just like all the Brandy stuff, and then they start playing the Fleetwood Mac song.
Yeah, that's a good moment.
That was great. I just love all the stuff
I thought Drax is fantastic in that movie. He was probably better in this than he was the first.
It's so funny. You like Drax. I've talked to a lot of people who are like, they made Drax too silly. I think he works.
No,
I think
he's great.
he's fine.
I think it's because in the first one he had that silliness, but he was more reserved because he wasn't as comfortable with the characters. Now he's comfortable with them.
Well, I feel like this movie
he's opened up, and I think it's fine.
One of the things I love about this movie is how they harvested a lot of emotional things from the characters.
Yeah, especially with Rocket.
Especially with Rocket.
And Yondu, that moment where he's like, I know who you are, boy.
You're me.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
And
that is a fantastic scene.
Every character has...
He's great. Michael Rooker's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. He may have been your father.
But he wasn't your daddy.
I'm Mary Poppins. Yeah,
like, he had great moments.
So great. Like, there's just so many wonderful themes and ideas. And to me, I see it as like a real masterpiece because I'm like, it's the Sly Cooper thing, right? Where it's like, he put this together and I haven't seen, like, as fun as all the other Marvel movies have been, this is a weird property and it's doing super weird stuff, really strange things, and he keeps them all together and all the themes are all congealed together.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that, like, when I think about Infinity War, I kind of get like a little nervous because I'm like, oh, what if it's bad? But one of the things I want from the movie, which I don't know if I'll get, is that you've had 10 years of films that you can draw on, and I think that will be one of the most effective things if they connect themes and ideas from these past films
and emotions and all these characters,
and like really pay off everything 10 years of watching films. Like really
I feel like they did that with Civil War with Cap and Tony.
Civil War definitely gets to that. But I feel like Guardians did a tiny bit of that, and that's one of the things I like about the movie is how they're pulling these like really emotional seeds out, and it's really
I hope so too.
It's so fun. I really have that movie is super. I really like it. And nobody else likes that movie. It's very...
Spider-Man: Homecoming was after that.
Super fun.
Yeah, great. There's 6 screenwriters for that movie.
Oh, is James Vanderbilt listed as one of the screenwriters? No, just Andy.
Just a bunch of people because it was a mixed thing. For producers, it's all Kevin Feige, and then for this movie, it's Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal. Yes, great movie. Doesn't really lead into, just like Guardians 2, doesn't really lead into anything. You get to know Spider-Man more, and you see his new fancy suit that he turns down that will make a reappearance. His Iron Spider suit. Fun.
He'll just get it later.
It's a fun movie. I think Tony Stark's appearance in that movie was great. It wasn't too much.
Well, I was watching the YMS quickie on it, and Adam thinks it's weird every time Iron Man appears.
Adam is ridiculous. I just saw. I like YMS a lot, but sometimes I just saw. Quick aside. I just saw A Quiet Place, and I watched his review on it. And
I was laughing really hard.
He is really wrong about so many things. And I read some of the comments, and I completely agreed. He missed these things because he just wasn't paying attention. Because they were all things that I completely got.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the
he's like, why didn't they just use guns?
Right.
Because in the movie, it says multiple times they have armor.
Oh, the creatures have armor.
Yeah.
But didn't she kill one with a gun?
Yes, but you haven't seen it, though.
That's true.
But I only know because they have a weakness, they figure out what the weakness is. No one else figured out the weaknesses. Oh. It's like that simple, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I
think his big problem is, like, in horror especially, like there's a lot of plot contrivances, especially with children, where children's stupidity is what sets off.
Yeah, well, of course. Horror. Because there wouldn't be a movie otherwise. Like, what did he want? He wanted this family to do perfectly well.
Perfect logic.
It's like I don't know. It's just dumb. It's just like, okay, relax, buddy. I like
he views films as almost like a contained reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's why he loves shit like Synecdoche, New York, because all that. Have you watched it? It's very contained. Like,
well, here's the thing about his opinion, especially on that movie. He's allowed to have his opinion.
Of course.
But
and it's really funny. Like, he's funny.
The reasoning is all incorrect.
Interesting.
All incorrect about the movie. Like, it was like...
I always think he does go into nitpicking a little too much.
Like there were just plots that he said were issues that were not even in the movie,
right.
Or he just missed them. He just wasn't paying attention then.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the things he talks about. He talks about how he got distracted, because he couldn't.
So that's his fault. I was in it. Well, I mean, like, I don't understand why.
But you didn't turn your brain off. You don't turn your brain off during these movies.
Why would you turn your brain off? It's a movie.
That's his thing. He's always thinking people are telling him to turn his brain off when he doesn't like a movie.
No, my brain was on, and that's why I was able to understand everything that was happening in the movie. I didn't miss any of that stuff.
You got it all.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I like that. I think it's.
I just think he wasn't paying attention, and so he missed it.
That's fair.
There were so many he was talking about all these plot holes that weren't there.
Wow, that's so interesting.
I was really surprised by it. I thought he was better than that, especially for this movie specifically. Because then I went down and read all the comments, and people are like, "It was explained in this part."
Well,
I saw the movie once, and I was able to remember all these things.
I remember feeling weird when he gave Fury Road. He's like, it was fun out of 10, and I was just like, it's a good movie. You don't gotta say it's just fun. Like, I think Fury Road has a lot of merit.
I just think he's the kind of guy who likes to have different opinions.
Contrarian.
Whether he says it all the time that he doesn't do it on purpose, but he definitely does. Thor Ragnarok is next.
Ragnarok.
I loved Thor Ragnarok.
It's really fun.
I think it's great.
I think it's I don't understand why I wasn't hype on it. Because when I think back on it, all the jokes are great.
Yeah.
All the character moments are great. It's really well structured.
The action's fun.
Action's super fun.
Music's great.
It should be like amazing for me, but for some reason it leaves me kind of cold.
Was it because it was exactly what you were expecting?
Well, exactly what I was expecting. Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's why it didn't underwhelm you, it didn't overwhelm you.
I thought all the villains would have been in on it together. I thought like Jeff Goldblum and Hela.
That was my one gripe, is that it felt like two movies. They had Ragnarok written, and then they were like, we gotta save this movie. Yeah. We'll add this fun part of it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Like the cuts between the Jeff Goldblum Sakaar
and everything
stuff
happens so fast,
and the Asgard stuff is really, really like.
And I also got spoiled by What We Do in the Shadows, where I love the scene work in that movie, and I just love all like the
totally different style movie. Though,
totally different style. I think I was expecting that style with these villains over a long like we would get to see Jeff Goldblum and Hela have fun conversations. We would get to see Hela have fun conversations about like the Infinity Stone or whatever or something. But yeah.
All right, Connor. This leads to one last question I have for you.
Wait, isn't there another movie?
What are your thoughts on Black Panther?
Black Panther. Woo!
How do you feel about it now?
Wakanda. Which way is the Wakanda? Is it like this?
I don't know.
It's like
the arm
this?
cross. Yeah. It's the W.
Oh man, I love Black Panther and Civil War, and I love this director. I love Creed is an amazing movie.
Yep.
It's
I
so
like
good.
asking you this question because I think it's funny. What are your thoughts on Black Panther?
You let me down, and I love like magic, and I love like mythology, and like Black Panther. Like, he's a king. I get to see like a movie about a king, and it's magic, and it's like it's from it's from the same director of Creed, which is like one of the best pseudo mythological like movies ever. And oh my god, we're gonna get to see him like kind of rise to the ranks, and like, oh fuck, and then Black Panther is like he's not a character in the movie. The movie like throws him off a cliff and forgets about him for like an hour. They're like, yes, you're not charismatic enough, sir. And they just throw him off. Like, I was just so let down. The only things I like are the opening, like the mythological, like the way our tribe was formed. I like that part, and I liked kind of when they go into the spirit world and Michael B. Jordan scenes. That's it. That's all I can. It's such a letdown. I feel so bad. Yeah, and it's just like, and I think the problem too is like vibranium can do anything. So
that
is
like one of my biggest issues.
If nobody can die, nothing has stakes.
Ex Machina vibranium solves all the issues. It was just like, what's the point now?
Bad. And then the ending.
I hate vibranium.
I hate vibranium now.
Yep. The end fight's just rubber.
He was so good in Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked.
I'm surprised that you're saying this about this because I really thought you liked it a lot more than I did when we first saw it.
Well, I kind of gave it carte blanche because I hadn't really thought about it too much.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I love the Michael B. Jordan scenes.
Yeah.
I will defend those. Like every scene he's in, I'm like,
I like the claw scenes more.
You like class scenes more, right? Well, yeah, he's our homeboy. What's his name?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis
Great.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's always great.
Yeah.
I loved him as Snoke. I love him in every Gollum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's always good. I loved him. He's one of my favorite parts of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I love that performance so much, and it just I
I
was
understand this opinion is so like.
Is it controversial?
Unpopular.
I don't think so. Adam talked about it in his review.
Yeah,
he's like, it's not weird because
But
he did not like this.
This
movie.
is the biggest movie right now of all time.
Well, yeah, but I talked about this last time. It's just an untapped market. That's all. It's like it's a market that isn't, if I put myself in the shoes, if I was black, and this might be weird to talk about because I'm not black, but if I did not see people who looked like me in the movies, I would have it might be harder for me to connect on screen. That's when people talk about representation.
See, I
totally
disagree with that statement. I know this is a very controversial conversation, but I think that we should be at the point where it doesn't matter.
That's that's very interesting.
Because I connect with any character who I connect with. Doesn't matter what they look like. If I was blind, it wouldn't matter. So why does it matter? Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's true. I think
it is cool. I mean, it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
good with it. I'm not saying it shouldn't be a movie, and I just think it should have been a better movie. And I don't think that that's a reason to say it's the best movie of all time.
Yeah. Like because the movie was kind of inflated.
It's getting a pass.
It's
not that good of a movie. It should be better.
You know what? I actually do agree with that. I do agree because I think that it sucks that this is the movie that gets celebrated.
It should be Wonder Woman. The same thing happened with Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Although, which is better, Black Panther or Wonder Woman?
I think Wonder Woman's a little bit better. Yeah. They both have bad endings, but
that makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
although no, I like Killmonger's death, where he's like, "Nah," and then he just stabs himself. Yeah. I was like, I respect that.
Yeah. It's one of my least favorite MCU movies.
Insane.
I've seen it once. I really don't need to see it again.
Yeah. YouTube compilation. I feel so like I'm shocked, honestly,
I know.
because this director is great. He's great. I don't know what happened.
And this isn't his style of movie, I guess.
A part of me is like, Kevin Feige did something. Somebody did something wrong. Help! Help! Why are these characters I don't care about?
Yeah.
How did you react when there was like, what are those? How did you?
Oh my God, Connor, that was painful. Oh my God, that was painful.
That was really.
It was like an old person wrote the script and was like, they like this joke.
The kids will love it. What a letdown. Oh well, we'll get them next time.
I'm curious. I would be curious to see that movie in a packed theater when it first came out because we saw it in a private showing.
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious to see it in it with a.
Well, there's I think
maybe I would have had a different reaction. Maybe
I think there's fun moments. The trailers are really good. I really like the trailers.
See, I didn't like the trailers.
I like the trailers because
underwhelmed.
I like Run the Jewels.
Yeah, all right.
I love that song.
Well, that's about it. Infinity War is next. We're gonna see it. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna probably like it. I'd assume. I don't know. I've only seen the first trailer. I haven't seen anything else other than that. When I was in the theater to watch A Quiet Place, the second trailer came on, and I ran out of the theater.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Ooh.
I only heard Gamora say one little thing, and I don't remember what it was. She just has a voiceover at some point. But I closed my eyes and ran away.
I like that. I like the second trailer better than I like the first trailer.
I can't wait to watch it after I see the movie. It was really weird going back and watching the trailers for Thor Ragnarok after seeing the Thor movie.
Oh, are they very different?
Yeah. Some parts. All right. I think that's it. We've gone on for a long time, so I think we should just close it off here.
Close it out.
That was a good conversation. I really enjoyed talking with you, Connor.
Yeah. That was a pleasure.
I liked Sly Cooper. That was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. We should do a nostalgic segment every once in a while. Just talk about some stuff that we liked. Yeah. It's really loud. What is it? Thanks for listening to us tonight. You can find us on YouTube and iTunes, Invested Podcast.
Look it up. Look it out.
Thanks for being here with me here tonight, Connor.
Hey.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
I'll see you this week, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a review.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Great.
Is Tyler gonna be?
He said maybe. So we'll see. All right.
All right.
Adios.